you guys doing? My name's Eli, back again for another video. And so today, we're going to be making device mockups, they're going to be iPhone and Android mockups. We're going to have the option of adding images into it. If you don't want an image, you'll just have a black phone, which I think looks pretty good as well. So let's get started. So I've already created a regular Create React app. What we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into it, and you can go ahead and use your favorite text editor. But for this application, we're going to be using Styles components. So we'll go ahead and install that. All right. And then we're just going to delete all this. There we go. We can go ahead and delete. Let's drag this in a little more. Okay, we can go ahead and delete our app.css. Perfect. All right, looks like style components are done. All right, so we're gonna create a new file. We're gonna call this phone.js. And inside of this file, we're gonna house our iOS and Android, and we'll export both of the components from this phone.js component. So we're going to export a functional component. We're going to call it iOS. Don't need this as of now. Okay. And we're going to need to return. Gosh, I cannot type today. I'm going to copy this, and we're going to make another one and call it Android. Let's go ahead and import iOS, and let's import Android. And what I'm doing is inside of VS Code, you can type the name of a component that you want, and if you hit Control Space, it'll allow you to auto import it without having to go up and import it yourself. So, all right, so we have those two on the screen. Let's add a container. We're going to do the same with style to get it auto imported. And then we're going to add a width 100, view width, a height 100, view height. Then let's add a background color because we're going to do this all as a dark mode, I would say. In another video, I'll show you guys how to do white iPhones and white Android phones. So, but as for today, we will be doing black. Perfect. Let's go to index at CSS. I don't want any margin, so perfect. Close that up. All right, so I want everything centered. We'll have this space evenly. And we'll align everything center. And then we also want to wrap everything, so make it a little responsive. Flex wrap. Perfect. There we go. All right, now let's go to our phone.js. All right, let's get started on this container for both of the phones. Gonna auto import. Okay, we're gonna set the position to relative because we're gonna be setting some items inside of the component to absolute, and we want them to be relative to the individual phones. Background, we're gonna set a background color 222. We need to set a width. We're going to set it 375 pixels. You can do whatever you want, but for today's tutorial, we're going to use 375. 375 by 800, and then we have these. We're going to go ahead and plug these styled divs into our components. There we go. All right, and then we're going to want to set our border radius. We'll set it to 44 pixels. Perfect. All right, so we don't really need this text anymore, so we can go ahead and delete it. All right, and what we're going to want to do is we want to set a box shadow. So box shadow, and we're going to set it to 100 pixels, 80, and then we're going to set a color of black with about 40% opacity or opacity. And then we want to set an inner box shadow as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to type inset and then go ahead and type our box shadow as we usually do. 20 pixels, 8 pixels, 20 pixels. And we need to set a color as well. We're going to set it to a white color. 255, 255, 255. It's an opacity of 0.06. All right, it's looking good. All right, so what we want is, if you look back, we want our screen to be centered perfectly inside of the actual phone itself. So we're going to set a display flex. We're going to justify content center. We're going to align the item center. All right. Then we're just going to set a little margin as well. 1 rem. All right, perfect. So now we need to put our screen on. So create another style div. We're going to call it screen. We're going to go ahead and add screen in. All right. As for our screen, we want the width to be 98% of whatever size we set our the container. So 90%. Same thing for the height. 98%. Okay. We want to set a background color of 1E, 1E, 1E. Oh. All right, it's looking good. We're going to need to set a border radius. And we'll set it as 44 pixels. Looks a little off. We'll say 45. All right, 45 pixels. Okay. And we need to set another box shadow. So we're just going to copy and paste the one from the container. I'm going to put that into the screen. And we're going to change this to 22. And then 20. As for the color, I'm going to be using this color here. Set this to about 0.5. See how we're looking. All right, that inset is too much. Set this to -20, -2. I'll leave that at 20 pixels. And we want it to be black. 0.2. Much better. Okay. All right, so what we also need to do is we want our Z index to be above the phone, of course. So we're going to just set it to 1. Actually, no, we don't need to worry about that. I had an idea of putting the antennas in, but I didn't think it looked too good, so don't even worry about the Z index. All right. And then we need to set a background color. Oh, we already set the background. Okay. And what we need to do next, it's looking pretty good. We need to set our speaker at the top. So let's create another style div called speaker. We want to set a Z index. We'll set it to 3. We'll set it to 4. We want it above everything. We're going to set a width of 50 pixels, height 4 pixels, and a background of 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Should be it. Oh, we also need to set the position to absolute. And a border radius of 4 pixels. I need to go ahead and add our speakers in. iPhone. Let's add it to the Android. Perfect. Okay. So now we need to do the power button and the volume button. And also we need to do the silent button. So let's do all of those. I'm just going to speed through this really quick. Or we'll do the first one and then speed through the rest. So we'll do the power button. Add our power button into our component. With 3 pixels. Height. 45 pixels. We're gonna have a background color 282828. Position absolutes because we want to push it all the way to the right. And then we're gonna set it. I'm gonna set it to the right. -3 pixels. That's the entire width of the power button. Oh, on the wrong page. All right, there we go. And then we need to set it from the top. I'm gonna say 8 rems. Perfect. All right, and then we're just gonna copy and paste this power button 2 times. We're gonna call this volume button and silent button. Volume. Perfect. All right, it's looking good. Now for the volume button, we're going to want to set this to 90 pixels. We actually want it to attach to the left side. And we want it about 10 rems from the top. See how that's looking? Perfect. And then the silent button, we want that to come to the left as well. We want to set this, we'll call it 25. We want to space it a little bit more. I have it 6 rems from the top. Sorry. Okay, we want it 6 rems from the top. Let's go ahead and save that. All right, much better. Okay, and what do we need to do? All right, and then we just need to do the iPhone notch at the top. So I'm gonna call this notch style div. Let's go ahead and add this notch in. All right, so we're gonna set a width 50%. Let's add the notch in on the iPhone. We added to the wrong phone. All right. Height of 40 pixels. we're going to set a Z index of 3 because we want it above the screen, but we want it below the actual the speaker. All right, set a position of absolute. And we're going to set it from the top 1 pixel. Let's see how that's looking. Let's go ahead to the screen. We want to set a Z index anyways. Oh, we never set a color to it. Set the background to 2A, 2A, 2A. Perfect. All right, we need to set a border radius. 0, 0, so we get the top left and top right are 0. And then we want to set the bottom to 15 pixels. Let's see, let's figure out what this color is. Color's a little off. Oh. Maybe 2E. Oh. Much better. Okay, so we'll do a 2E, 2E, 2E for the notch color. All right, so now that we're done with those two, we're going to go ahead and add our images in. So what we're going to want to do is pass the images in to the components. We're going to destructure the image, and then we're going to send it into our screen, and we're going to set it as our background image for our screen. All right, so I have the images for you guys. You just go to this URL, device-mockup.now.sh. What we're going to do is we're going to save the image. Just going to go to the directory of where I have it, my stuff saved, project, source, and I'm going to save it there. Let's call it alert. I'm going to save this image as well. I'm going to call it courses. All right, so courses and alert. Perfect. So let's import courses image from courses.png. We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to copy and paste. We're going to call this alert image alert.png. All right. Oh, wrong file. Take this out. Put in app.js. I'm going to set image equals courses image. Image equals alert image. Perfect. All right, so we now need to destructure our props and take our image out. And then we're going to go to our screen and set image equals image. Perfect. All right, so what we're going to want to do is go up to our screen, and we've passed the screen. We've passed the image prop to our actual screen. So on background here, what we're going to do is going to delete that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and access our props. All right, returning a function, props.image. So we want to see if we have an image prop passed in. If we have an image prop passed in, go ahead and use our backticks. Let's set URL. I'm going to set props.image. Now, if there is no image passed, we're just going to have a blank screen. Like what you see on the left here. So, what was it? 1E, 1E, 1E. Yep. Let's see. All right. Our images aren't lined up too well, but we'll get that sorted out. So, a background position. We're going to set that to center. All right, background repeat, set that to no repeat, and the background size, we're going to set that to 100%. Perfect, there we go. So this is how you guys make device mockups. So if you want to put this on your portfolio, go ahead. I think it's perfect, especially if you're an app developer. It's very easy and dynamic. All you need to do is plug the images in. If you don't want an image, you just remove it from as a prop, and it'll go ahead and go away, and we can add it back. Change our images. Perfect. All right. All I know is that you guys may have to fiddle around with the image components to make it fit perfectly. But what I had to do is I had to bring the top status bar down a little, and I had to bring the swipe up bar up a little, just so that it could fit the dimensions perfectly. But other than that, we're all done here. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, I'd love it. Thank you. Have a good one.